The man, the myth, the legend, Jesus has come back. Ladies and gents, please welcome on stage Stewart Vickers, SEO Jesus.
Thank you, Stephen. Just wanted to give a moment of appreciation here for Jabez. When he invited me to speak here, he said, as a topic, how do you feel about unorthodox lead generation for agencies? As in, unorthodox lead generation for agencies. I see what you did there. So, a bit about me. My real name is Stewart Vickers. According to Google, I am the best SEO in the world. That was through a bit of fun CTR manipulation, putting 1,000 clicks per day and searches into Google for why is Stewart Vickers the best SEO in the world. So now Ahrefs and other keyword tools will say there's 6,000 searches a month for that term, and now it shows in the people also ask snippet. Now, normally in my conference talks, I've done a lot this year, I fall into the content fire hose trap, where I'll just spew you information. Whereas more recently, I've been taking a lot of training on webinars and presentation skills. And of course, you see these gurus, they always have their acronym at the beginning. So today I present you with the 6 pillars of badass. Method number 1, for B, for badass, is black hat shit. Going back to that previous example, why is Stewart Vickers the best SEO in the world? People say, what is the point in this? It's fake traffic. It's not going to convert for anything. I have to step back and remind people, the goal is not to get traffic from this. It's all about manipulating the keyword tools, because we've got all these content teams, all these AI tools, all these scrapers. They're literally looking at Ahrefs for any relevant keyword they should be writing content about. And so it's from that there are now hundreds of articles on the internet, all reinforcing this idea of why is Stewart Vickers the best SEO in the world. They see that traffic, they want to complete the topical map, and so they write that content, not realizing that the traffic is artificial. Obviously, we're all link builders here. This all started when I was going through inventories, doing outreach, thinking, how on earth are all these websites creating all this fake traffic where there's 1 million searches a month for some random keto recipe that link farm manages to rank for and is able to inflate its traffic that way. So again, thinking outside the box. Even more fun is the fact that all these blogs obviously have their header images. There's quite a few fun AI ones out there. You see on the top towards the right, by the way, that's not quite me. Other times they just go and steal some of my social media content. Also fine, it's good for brand. Some fun AI generated ones for SEO Jesus as well. So this is all just a laugh, but it's enabled me to build this massive digital footprint. That's always good fun. I've also had a YouTube video done about me. I assumed this was going to be just some automated AI stuff, but I watched it, and actually no, someone had taken the time to do an actual YouTube video on why is Stewart Vickers the best SEO in the world. At that point, I did feel a bit guilty. Unorthodox method 2 is to actually show up, the A of badass. When I quit my day job, I was approaching quitting my day job. I had a couple of clients on the side, and I knew the corporate life wasn't for me. And we had a very amicable separation. And my team, they were laughing at me saying, Stuart's going to quit and become a digital nomad. And I said, no, I actually really like London. I'm probably going to stay put. 2 weeks later, I was on a plane to Colombia. I'd been invited to a high-ticket mastermind with around 25 high-ticket 6- and 7-figure business owners. And the idea was we'd have a couple of days in the hotel doing the talks, and then we'd go off into the Colombian rainforest and go whitewater rafting, camping overnight, and then we got helicopters back. So fantastic experience. It was a risk. It was a big investment. But I thought, I'm just starting my agency. The best way to get clients, best way to get in front of people is to go and hang out with them for a weekend. Now, I think most of us here, not only have you come to Chiang Mai SEO, but you've come to this extension task, the Link Building Mastery Summit. So I think you've already got it pretty nailed down that it's good to turn up to conferences. So in my case, this was my main lead generation strategy. I thought, this is great. I go to the conference, I have a good time, drinking, dining, having great experiences, and I come away with clients. So that was basically my business model for the time. And many people get stuck in this trap of thinking they're going to stay there forever. It's a great way to start, but it's not necessarily how I'd recommend remaining. Having said that, if you do go, there's all sorts of strategies to actually really show up amongst the crowd, even if you're at a conference with 500 people. For me, I always prioritize wearing band t-shirts. The reason I look like the way I do is not because I wanted to be a Jesus impersonator, but because I'm a metalhead. So for me, going to these events where I don't know anyone, if I wear an Iron Maiden t-shirt, it's suitably broad, all the rock fans, the metalheads, people I was probably going to get on with, they're going to come forward and find me. So a great way to connect with people. I know I'm on stage right now, but generally I'm quite a shy person. There's all these visual cues you can take in order to actually get in contact with people without having to approach everyone individually. If you show your identity, you show your true self, your people will find you. So like I say, this was my primary means of lead generation, and I thought, I just want to scale this. I'm going to go to every conference I can. I found out about a conference in Prague, and it was advertised as affiliate, digital marketing. It was going to be finance, dating, Forex, and a little bit of adult on the side. And so I got there, and it is a total porn conference. Check in at the hotel, and even my room key has got a cam girl on it from one of the sponsors. So it was at that point I started to question this model that, okay, not every event you go to, you spend your $2,000 on the ticket, flights, hotel, you're not always going to walk away with clients. Longer term, it can still work out. Generally, the ROI on in-person events is massive. In this particular case, I didn't get any clients, but I did end up with a really good affiliate partnership with a sex toy brand. And this just became a fun story that I kept on telling people. I did start a sex toy website to promote that brand. And from this, telling the story, showing the case study, I did then have sex toy companies reaching out to me saying, I've heard that you're basically the sex toy guy. I want to work with you. So the great thing about in-person events is you have a lot of these indirect lead generation tactics where the ROI might not come in the first month, 3 months, 6 months, but down the line, it always works out. Just recently, Reddit started working really well for me again for affiliate marketing. So I've been able to rank a post on Reddit, and I made $3,000 last month for that particular sex toy brand that I met in Prague 3 years ago in 2022. And what I want to say is, when you go to an event, really show up. So many people, they're very well behaved. They go to all the talks, notes, but then by the end of the day, they're exhausted, they go to their room. The fact is, you're only here for a short time, you've come all this way. So my biggest recommendation is always dive. Go to the dinners, go to the parties, do everything you can. If you go home exhausted, that's fine. That's how you maximize your ROI from an event. So just an example, in my case, I was telling someone earlier, I was at the after party at SEO Estonia. Our friends at Odis had a temporary tattoo station. And I thought, great, I was laughing with a friend saying, I'm going to get the Odis logo tattooed on my neck. But someone had already done that. I thought, no, I've got to go up a level now. Okay, give me the biggest one and put it on my forehead. Which was a great laugh at the after party. Less of a laugh when I then had to go through airport security to get back. I think Estonia were very happy to get rid of me at that point. So I thought I'd had it made. I hit 6 figures in 6 months when I started my agency. 10K a month in December after starting in July. And I thought, this is great, it's working. But you take the overall total revenue for that year, thanks to Chris at SPP, always a big fan of his agency tracking platform. But in this case, $200,000 in revenue for the year, which seemed fantastic at the time, but then you realize that's revenue, not profit. What's more, I step back and I think, how many people in my class at university went on to become lawyers, doctors? There's lots of careers where you can make that kind of money without all the headache of actually running an agency. So I was still broke. I didn't actually know where my next client was coming from. $2K to go to a conference might yield a client, but even then, that's just the cash. What about the energy investment? Am I billing for my hours, the jet lag, when you're hauling yourself across the world to hopefully get in the room with some clients and schmooze some people? If you add it all up, it actually works out very expensive. And those clients, they are basically your friends, which means retention is good, it's a good experience overall, but they're going to be WhatsApping you, Facebook messaging you, expecting that VIP level service. And it's just not scalable. Great way to start, not a great place to stay long term. But soon enough, we started working on this. And we got up to $600,000 in revenue the next year. And a lot of that was thanks to Dominate YouTube, the D in badass. Specifically, YouTube about black hat shit. So I mentioned the black hat stuff earlier. It doesn't really make money. But what it does do is it builds a lot of authority. I'm always trying to go on YouTube and talk about what actually works. Building great links, writing great content, sticking with the time-tested fundamentals that we know work. And the fact is, no one cares. No one cares until you start talking about shiny objects, interesting hacks, and then that takes nicely. So if we go back to that Ahrefs example of why is Stewart Vickers the best SEO in the world, it's not actually that useful to me until I start talking about it and say, here's a fun, interesting little hack you can do. So my video on that, one of them got around 2,000 views. And when you've done one of these little case studies once, you can basically rinse and repeat and keep on re-highlighting that case study. So overall, that's brought in 2,500 views on YouTube. Now, the great thing about YouTube is most people see it as a discovery engine. And it's true, you get fantastic reach within your market. But the fact is, it's a conversion machine. My average watch time on YouTube is 5 minutes. So we're all about touch points. Of those 2,000 views, the majority of them will have listened to me for at least 5 minutes. And that means by the time they actually book a call, they're basically already sold. They've already watched hours of my content. So YouTube is great for actually generating the leads in the first place, but we're going to come on to other lead generation strategies where I actually use my YouTube videos as a nurture sequence to then build that trust, even if the lead is already within my audience. Another good example with YouTube's fun to play around with almost as live case studies. So casino SEO is obviously very valuable, very competitive, but I noticed there's a video pack on page 1. So I'm going to talk about social signals and social blasts in a bit, but I wanted to set myself the challenge of can I rank on page 1 for casino SEO within 24 hours? So I sent 1,000 viral social media clicks to my video on 5 top casino SEO techniques, and sure enough, within 24 hours, we hit page 1. I then did a follow-up case study saying, here's how I did it. Also targeting the keyword casino SEO. Also sending 1,000 viral clicks. And sure enough, I got 2 top spots in the video pack for casino SEO. And of course, ranking organically on YouTube itself. Now, you don't actually have to do a lot of these little case studies, these tests to actually do well on YouTube. What most smart people actually do is they borrow other people's case studies. So just the other day, we had this big hack with Disney, where someone spammed a load of anchor text and backlinks to the Disney site and was able to create all those site links promoting an SEO agency. And now loads of people in our industry are jumping on this, commentating on what's actually gone on, and they're therefore getting lots of traffic around that niche. Edward Sturm, good example, seems to have just blown up out of nowhere. Anything that's going on in the industry, he is jumping on that and producing content around it. Now, this is my favorite bit, unorthodox method number 4. It's not that unorthodox until we get into the fine details of it, and that's ad funnels. We're talking about predictable, scalable revenue here. So most agency owners I speak to, a lot of the biggest SEO agencies I speak to, they always say their lead generation strategy is really quite simple. They generally spend $10,000 a month on Facebook ads. And that might seem scary, but that's because we're thinking about price and not value. And they say, no, for that $10,000 a month, we generally expect to close maybe 1, maybe 2 clients. But the fact is, they're really good clients. We choose who we work with. We bin off all the duds. These are high-level enterprise clients. They're not price sensitive, and they're going to spend $50,000 to $100,000 with us over the next months and years. So for me, this has been an absolute priority to get this working over the last year or so, because YouTube's been great for me, but the clients you get tend to be very high-level, hands-on. They kind of want to manage you a lot, and it's difficult to find those true enterprise-level clients who just want to leave you to get on with it. Plus, it requires a lot of output on my front. Recording the video, okay, that's a bit of work. And as I say, getting all those tests, all those case studies, that's also a lot of work. So if I can just get Facebook's got so many data points. They know my ideal client. If you can train it in the right way, that I give you this much money and you give me a client, then that's a dream. I think we can all agree. Now, a gentle flex here. This does mean that my credit card bill in about 2 days' time is going to be around $30,000. But the bonus of this is that I now fly business class everywhere. More than that, so I had to go to Australia a few months ago. I was able to get the A380 with the Qatar bar on it, and all I spent was £400, $600 in taxes, and then 150,000 Avios. Whereas I've got Amex Platinum, every time I spend £10,000, I get an extra 10,000 Avios on top of that as a thank you for spending so much money on my credit card. So for 10 grand a month in ad spend, I'm literally printing 25,000 Avios a month. And I got to Australia from London for 150,000. What I didn't expect was just how well that image has actually performed on Facebook ads. It's becoming a bit of a weird self-replicating cycle here, where for a long time I thought the best Facebook ad you could do was direct to the offer, say what it is you do, here's the results you can get, put an Ahrefs graph on there, put your face on it because it's a social platform, you want to look like content, but be real, show your tangible results. And it turns out I was wrong. Actually, a photo of me in business class is totally smashing it, even though most people don't believe it's actually real. I've been laughing about this with Chris Walker lately. Carl McDowell, whoever that is, that's a sweet fake plane. And he's not alone. I've had a whole wall of abuse for this photo. I love how you can rent a jet for a selfie. Not a real jet, just a set. Looks like a photo you take in a warehouse, staged like the inside of a private jet. Definitely trust the guy sitting in a fake plane. But at this point, I'm laughing on my way to the bank because my average lead at this point is £25, so around $30, $35. And we're talking about qualified leads here because we're set it up in such a way that if you set the minimum budget on our form, Facebook doesn't credit that as a conversion. We're only crediting the pixel. We're only firing the pixel if the budget you set is above $1,000 a month. So therefore, $30 for actual qualified leads with money. So I tried to extend this further, thinking, well, if Facebook wants me to flex to get clients, I am okay with that. I'm quite enjoying my luxury lifestyle at the moment. So there's me with my Porsche, there's me with a friend in a bar in Hong Kong. I thought, let's scale this. But honestly, it's still the business class bar that's massively outperforming here. They still do okay. Interestingly on here, the second one down, new leads ad, that's the proper case study video, where I've got all the screenshots, I walk you through what's going on, here's how we ranked a client within 24 hours, here's how it works, book a call now. And it did okay, it was a good campaign. But you can see it's around $70 per lead, £55. Me in a bar, £25. The others, me with the Porsche and so on, $100 per lead. So all good, but nothing is actually beating the business class bar. And indirectly, this has done a lot for my personal brand, because of course, you're flying business class, I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to record every detail. Posted that up on Instagram. I only really do Instagram for a laugh, but the video of me going to Hong Kong and then staying at the peninsula with a Rolls-Royce pickup, that got 1 million views and went properly viral, entirely unintentionally, and now I've got people dropping me into my DMs around that as well. So massive reach just from spending my Avios, having a bit of a laugh, and frankly, showing off a bit about it. So let's get into some actual tangible technical details. In October, we spent around $8,000 on Facebook ads. That generated 42 leads, that's qualified leads, at $188 per lead. This is before I discovered the business class bar. That's only about a week old. This was the case study video. Now, I've been working closely with Stephen Karner over here. And I said, what's realistic here? Stephen's done a great job on building our sales team. But I said, of these leads, how many can we realistically expect to convert? He said, industry standard, 15% is a good target to aim for. So that's around 6 clients from those leads. If we assume each of those pays $2,500 a month, not a tiny retainer, but not a massive retainer either, that's quite conservative, we can be even more conservative with the retention and say that only going to stick with us 6 months, even though that would count as terrible retention. Total revenue, nearly $100,000 from $8,000 in spend. ROI, 10x. Now, obviously, if you're going straight in for the offer, then your leads are going to be more expensive. You need the sales team on the back end in order to really close those deals. But I'm a big fan of low-ticket, so-called self-liquidating funnels. I think we've heard this in the industry for years from the likes of Russell Brunson. There's always this dream that you can sell a low-ticket product, a $7 ebook, that's going to cover your ad cost on the front end. Now, typically, that's a bit of a dream, doesn't always work out that way. But the biggest fun I've been having this year is actually, I've got a lot of courses. Even if you don't have a lot of courses, the chances are you've got a lot of video content. You've got your Loom videos, your SOPs. All of those can be transcribed. And what I recommend doing, take that full transcription, dump it into Claude, I prefer Claude, and you can basically churn out these low-ticket ebooks entirely based on your own methods, unique insights that are not just AI slop, and they can be really expansive and detailed, and it only takes an afternoon to do. So all your unique insights from the recordings, any content you've got, put it into Claude, produce the ebook. I then go over to ChatGPT and say, produce me the mock-up of this ebook, and I can tell you, for these products, it's always the ebook mock-up that performs the best on Facebook ads. I tried to be clever for a long time. When action figures were the trend, I tried to do action figures. I've done all sorts of crazy AI imagery. None of it actually worked as well as just the ebook. Again, say what you sell, go direct to the offer, because the people who click on it, they know what they're getting and they want it. Even the sales page, what I'm doing is producing that with Claude. By going to top performing sales pages from some of the world's best copywriters, viewing the page source, copying the full page source, dumping that into Claude, and saying, you already know my full offer, my full ebook, make my sales page, my offer, like that, in their style. So now, literally in an afternoon, I'm doing something that would have taken weeks before, 2 years ago, of writing the ebook, designing the sales page, doing the copywriting. I've got a coach, his friend is a big copywriter in the dating niche. He's made multiple millions selling PDFs. And he says, Claude is one of the best copywriters in the world that anyone has access to. And again, if we just look at the numbers here, typically these funnels perform a lot better early on than later on. But the whole goal of this is not even about the money. It's about building a list of qualified leads who are prepared to pay you money. When I do a YouTube video, I can happily get 400 leads from a YouTube video. But so many of them are never actually going to give me any money. They don't have it to give. So good luck to them. But when I'm running a Facebook funnel where you have to put in your payment details, even if it's only $7, that's a much more qualified lead. And even if you lose money on that initial front-end tripwire product, there's a very good chance that 6 months down the line, a year's down the line, as you're constantly emailing your list, they are going to upsell into something much more high ticket. This particular funnel, that wasn't even a problem, because you can see I spent 1,500, I made 3,000 back. The ROAS on this funnel was frequently between 3 to 5x. That month, I didn't do any YouTube videos. I thought, I am being paid to generate my own leads here automatically with Facebook. I don't need to do anything else. So probably one of the most important teachings I want to give you today is this idea of mechanism. I've talked a lot about copywriting and copywriters. There's this idea of having your mechanism, which is how you avoid commodification, which is massive for our industry in the link building world. Because I think most of us can admit we're all selling pretty much the same thing. And we're pitching the same business owners over and over again who are already being spammed to death with, dear sir, I will build you high quality backlinks. Your mechanism is your safety from that. It's basically a kind of rebranding. You see it all the time in the coaching space, where someone will say, yeah, I'm not a mindset coach. I teach the Enlightenment Transformation Energy Scheme, TM. It's got some sort of brand around it. So in my case, when I first started my agency, I tried to niche down to high-ticket coaches. Therefore, I wanted to write an ebook, but I wasn't going to call it SEO for coaches, even though I wanted to rank it on Google. I called it the power lever method, because that was my own proprietary system, my own special sauce that avoids commodification. I'm not doing SEO, I am doing the power lever method. One of my favorite examples of this is HubSpot. Years ago in the corporate world, I remember my bosses getting very excited about inbound marketing, and there's this idea promoted by HubSpot. And you look at what it actually is, and it's basically doing SEO, writing content, and putting lead forms on your website. And I'm thinking, that's just SEO. But HubSpot did such a good job of this inbound marketing concept that it really resonated with people who had no idea what SEO even was. And the whole point of that is you're avoiding commodification. You're the unique supplier of your unique mechanism. Even if someone's skeptical can come and dig in and try and reverse engineer what it is you're doing and say, that's just SEO, the majority, no, they're just impressed. And this can work down to even your unique individual service levels. So whatever your proprietary method is, chances are you're going to have some pricing packages, some deliverables. You can stop talking about backlinks and you can go into authority signals or brand mentions, PR placements. It's very easy to apply this from top to bottom at every level of your business. So everything is a unique, shiny object. And with that, we go on to this idea of blue ocean products. This idea, trying to find untapped niches where there's no competition. And the answer to that is basically creating your own products that don't currently exist. Slight confession here, with the badass method, I went into Claude, gave it my existing framework, and it came up with badass. It's like, right, I want that. Unfortunately, blue ocean products wasn't going to fit in too well unless we went for C of blue ocean products. But I like it. I want the acronym. Now, about a year ago, when we had all this helpful content update chaos going on, it was very noticeable that some of our clients, even though they were content websites, they were very resilient to helpful content updates versus everyone else we were seeing. And the main trend we could see, the commonality between them, was they had a lot of brand searches, 400 searches a month in Ahrefs for their brand name. So I thought, this is like some sort of protection, second skin, some sort of insurance policy that's stopping sites from getting tanked. Now, I'm a big fan of CTR manipulation. I found a lot of people that ended up buying CTR services from me, and I thought, let's niche down a bit. Pay me $50 a month, and I'll go into my tool, which $200 a month, and I'll make sure that 60 searches a month are made for your brand name into Google to try and unlock this extra protection for you. And I'm thinking, there's not going to be a massive need, but it's definitely a nice to have, and it's very cheap. And the best thing was, it's all margin. But I'm thinking, no one's going to buy this. No one's going to believe in this. Sure enough, we made $10,000 from it. Pretty much all margin from a software tool we were already using. Some clients, the retention was really good. It was that small amount, but they didn't really need to worry about it too much. It was kind of the Netflix model. The effort to actually cancel was more effort than just staying on. So some clients have spent $1,000 with us for that. More recently, though, I've put steroids on this. Because I recently discovered if we send 5,000 viral social media clicks to a URL, it instantly jumps onto page 1. It's only a temporary boost. It only lasts about a week. But it is profound. You can see this example with the client. They wanted to rank for tenant insurance. They were at position 27. 24 hours later, they're at position 11. And it's not just about the keyword. Every keyword that URL ranks for experiences the jump. Because we're telling Google that basically this page is going viral. It deserves to rank 1. People are interested in it. So a day later, they ended up ranking much higher for renters insurance as well. Works really well on Reddit threads, like that sex toy example I gave you. So we had a client we did a Reddit post for. This search term gets searched 500,000 times a month. The thread wasn't even ranking. But after 5,000 social clicks, it went straight up to position 2 and got nearly 200,000 visitors. It's only temporary, and it did drop off. So then we did ClickBomb again, and sure enough, it came up again. Online casinos, also really good niche for this. Perfect client here, ranking page 2, page 3, doing pretty well. We did the ClickBomb, and then they're on page 1. So just to recap here, what is the badass method? Black hat shit that stands out. The key thing I want to get across to you here is with my latest product, with ClickBomb, we are doing all of the above. We are not saying we're going to send 5,000 social clicks to your website and this whole technical explanation. I just called it ClickBomb. Here's why it's awesome. And we're using ad funnels to actually promote it. And we're doing YouTube to promote it. We're using a mechanism. ClickBomb is a mechanism, and it's a blue ocean product that no one else is selling. So I did a whole YouTube playlist on it. That's been doing very well. You can see the number of views per video because it's a new, interesting, shiny object. So what I recommend, and also that whole business class bar, it's actually ClickBomb we're promoting with that. Now, the idea is not actually to sell a load of ClickBombs from this. It's to win trust. We're doing this no-brainer ad. Hormozy would be very proud that if you're already ranking on the top 3 pages of Google, we will put you on page 1 tomorrow, or you'll get your money back. Once we've done that, then we've won the trust. That client is then a super fan. Then they're willing to upsell into what I would call a proper SEO retainer of content and backlinks. But we've stood out from all the noise. We've delivered what we said we would deliver. So formulate a product or process that doesn't currently exist, and give it your own proprietary name, your own seal. Do a YouTube video about it and why it works. Run Facebook ads to it, and make sure they go into a nurture sequence to get your YouTube videos to keep on hounding them about how great it is. Attract clients with a shiny object, prove that trust, and then upsell them into the actual fundamentals that everyone else is pitching the same thing, but you stood out because you won that trust. So my special gift for you today, you can claim a free click bomb. We just raised the price to $297. So if you are interested in trying to use this and replicate this for your clients, we can deliver them that instant ranking boost in 24 hours, so you can then upsell them into a much longer term solution. Then if you book a call with us, if you turn up to the call, we will give you a click bomb absolutely free. There's no pitch, it's just discussion about, are you a good fit? How could it actually help you? I will also throw in for free my ebook on the Agency Ascension Blueprint. That's everything I teach about how to scale your agency from where I was a few years ago, that 10 to 20K a month, pit of despair, the valley of pain, and how you can truly scale into a 50K per month sustainable business. Thank you very much.
That was one click bomb presentation, Mike. I do have a question before we take some from the audience. So your insurance and casino case study, how many click bombs it took for them to start seeing the growth? 1, 2?
So it does vary. 80% of the time it works first time. In the end, we ended up providing a guarantee, very Hormozy style. If it doesn't work the first time, we'll do it again. We'll even do it a third time if necessary. And that's what we found as a standard process. So the insurance one, I did a whole YouTube case study on it. I did it once, didn't work. Damn, and I was recording this live. But okay, let's do it again. Still not working. Damn it. I come back, literally 12 hours later. I think I just got back from the pub or something. Okay, last chance, let's try it. Sent it again. Then it took off, then it exploded. So that's a good point about the mechanism and the blue oceans. It's you want to be selling outcomes and transformations, not selling a widget. And that's classic with link building especially. We include that guarantee because you're buying the result, you're not buying a click bomb.
Definitely. Well, I've got news for you. The 5 click bombs I bought from you 3 weeks ago, because of all those clicks, that client closed about $15,000 just from all the leads which came in. So it does work. So,
Well, I'm glad.
brilliant. Right, questions from the audience then.
Hey, Stewart.
Hello,
Thanks
Annie.
for the amazing presentation. I only have one question. You mentioned that your $7 offer worked really well with the ebooks. I just want to know that does that low ticket work for an enterprise level to attract enterprise level clients? Because like they end up paying, like 10K, 20K a month for an SEO agency. How long would that take for an enterprise client to convert from such a low ticket offer?
Yes, it's very niche dependent. So in my case, I did the link building Bible because I wanted to try and attract business owners. Turned out I didn't get any business owners, but I got a whole ton of SEOs looking to learn more SEO.
Yeah.
So I've got my course business and it worked very well for that. I've kind of got two sides to my business. One is done for you SEO. The other is SEO agency training, basically, white label services for SEO agencies. So there's no perfect answer. I would say really dig down and work on what is the solution for that particular enterprise client. And it might well be something a bit more consultative, like a webinar or something like that. There's no perfect answer. I really tried to go after niches. I even tried to see if I could do, I did an ebook called Green Market SEO, where I was trying to get past the Facebook restrictions to try and attract cannabis clients. But it didn't work out because obviously you need to be close enough that the client actually gets what it is, but not so obvious that Facebook bans it. But if you just want to do SEO for SaaS, something like that, then there's real potential there.
Okay, so you still recommend having a low ticket, like less than $10 offer to attract potentially very, very high ticket clients?
Yeah, so low ticket can be anything. And if your ideal client is higher ticket, then of course you can charge more. I think $7 really is quite low. I think that advice has been around for a long time and it's not caught up with inflation. So most people I speak to now who are doing this, they say, no, go for $27. You'll make a lot less sales. Actually, your quality of lead will be much better. So in the case of an enterprise client, they're probably not looking for how-to. They're looking a lot more for the solution and are you the right solution? So you can think outside the box in terms of what that low-ticket offer actually is. Custom GPTs are very popular at the moment. I forgot to mention that Claude transcript. I'll then go back to Claude and say, give me the SOP. So that's order bump number 1, the little upsell. I'll then go back. I actually put it into Notebook LM and create a podcast from it. And then on the order form, I say, would you like to spend an extra $14 to get the MP3 guide? And a surprising number of people buy a Notebook LM podcast, and they have no complaints about it. They get full value from it.
First of all, thank you so much for the excellent presentation, Stewart. My question is, what we have seen is that you were able to rank on some really competitive niches like casinos and insurance. So I want to ask, do backlinks or website authority have a role to play over here, or it can be a brand new domain or something without any authority?
Yeah, totally. So what I'm always telling people with ClickBomb is, first of all, it's temporary. It's not a complete solution by any means. And it's not going to work if you're not already ranking for stuff. A lot of the advice around any CTR tactic for the last 10 years has always been to get into the top 10, you need content and backlinks. That's the only way to get there. After that, then it becomes more about time on page, CTR, because it's obvious. If you're down at page 5, no one's actually clicking on you. Google's not going to believe that all this traffic coming to you is actually legit. Whereas if you're in the top 10 and you're getting far more traffic and engagement than everyone else, then naturally you're going to go higher up.
I wonder if you stand up on stage in Brighton SEO and give that presentation. I wonder how that's going to go down.
I don't know where I got my black hat reputation from, but it seems to have happened, yeah.
Brilliant. No one else? Well, ladies and gents, SEO Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you very much.